yeah, commuting in an R6, as I said, we're not really commuting here, but we are, you know, this is going into the city. It's actually really quiet. I'm surprised there's so few cars about. I might have tried to get away with kidding you that I was genuinely commuting, but this lack of traffic is kind of scupper that plan, I think. But yeah, but it's still kind of, you know, this sort of riding as opposed to, you know, what this bike's built for. And I've not really done much of this in this bike, to be fair. It's okay so far. It's better than my old R6, I tell you that. A lot of people say these bikes are uncomfortable and you know, uncomfortable for commuting and stuff like that there, but you know, the truth is with a sports bike, it does feel uncomfortable when you first get on it, but you get used to it really quickly. You know, when the first couple of weeks I had this bike, when I was getting off it, I was a wee bit stiff like, but you know, not anymore. I don't even give it a second thought, and I'd go out and do a couple of 100 miles sometimes. It's not particularly bad, I guess, is the way to say it. Let's give it a 5 out of 10 for comfort, you know, which is probably surprising because a lot of you probably think it'd be a lot worse than that. One thing that is really cool though is that it is like, it's a super nimble little machine, you know, and it's not wide or anything like that, so you can really dart in and out of the traffic. We're 102 now on the coolant temperature, and the fan's kicked in, I can hear it. And now we're down to 98 after, like, you know, 30 seconds blast with a little fan. So it is really effective, that we found. But you know, it's going to creep back up again, and the only way really to keep that temperature anyway stable, you need to be doing like 30 or above. Anything below that and it's gonna get. So yeah, that's one thing. And you know, you don't really, while it's not necessarily a problem, on the other hand, you don't really want to put your bike through that all the time, you know. Especially if, you know, it's in the middle of winter or something and you're commuting to work and all your stuff's getting like 100 degrees. And then, you know, you leave the bike outside in the winter and it's minus like 5 or something, so you're getting those big temperature swings. Also, as you might be able to see, there's quite a lot of leaves all over the road right now, and that's only going to get worse. While those leaves are dry right now, in the future they will be wet. And even if it's a dry day, the leaves probably won't dry. And wet leaves are very, very slippy. So the traffic looks really bad up here. That's not good. Feeling bad from a bike, 101 degrees again. That's not good either. This was a bad idea. I will concede now that this was not a good idea. I don't think I'll be doing this again. 101 degrees on the coolant. Brilliant. Sat here going nowhere. And the fan's on again. It's really stressful. to be completely honest, it's really stressful seeing the coolant temperature go up so high. And hearing that fan come on and off all the time. And yeah, I really don't like it. It's not going to be a good way to start your work day, like in the future, if you're going to even think about commuting. Breathe that nice cool air bike. Drink it in. 30 miles an hour on the radiator. Get rid of some of that heat, because it's not just like the radiator, you know, that's getting rid of all the heat either. It's like, you know, when you're riding along, it's the whole bike is losing heat, you know, and there's little ducts in the fairing and stuff to kind of improve that and make sure that more happens. So it's not just there going through the radiator, and that's, you know, why it makes such a big difference. But yeah, I mean, as soon as you hit 30, temperature's under control and it'll bring it back down, but anything below that, and you know, it's the fan that's doing all the work there, and you know, we're getting right up to 100 degrees before it does anything. So we're probably about halfway through the nightmare. I mean, I could kind of at any moment just actually give up and go out of the city, but like I'm halfway around now and figure I might as well finish this off. But yeah, so anyway, the conclusion so far at this point is that in terms of like riding experience, it's okay, but in terms of riding experience, look, it's an R6, and anytime you're on an R6 it's fun. Even if it is a pain and you're going through the city and it's traffic, it's still cool, still sounds amazing, still like know that you have all that power and, you know, acceleration at your fingertips. You still get all of that cool stuff. But and as I said before, it's not that even that uncomfortable, but like it's, you know, the sympathy for the machine element is the kind of issue here, you know, and it's just not nice. It's just not very nice seeing your temperature at 101 or higher, and yeah, I feel a bit bad, to be honest. What have I put my bike through for some stupid joke video? And I put my bike through like a torture test, essentially. I mean, the bike can take it, no problem, no bother, I'm sure. It's fine, but still, yeah, it's just not cool. And the irony is, like, temperatures, like, it's not a problem at all when you're going quickly. And in fact, you generally find the quicker that you go, the cooler it runs. Again, because you're getting all that cold wind blowing all the heat off the bike. So if you're doing like 70 or 80, the bike will sit at like, you know, maybe 72 degrees, somewhere like that, you know. And if you're doing slower than that, it'll generally sit around about 80. But, you know, the harder that you work it, ironically, actually, means that it runs cooler, because you're going quicker and there's higher wind speed then going over the bike as a result of that. Of course, the other problem that you have to contend with is you've always got this urge to just kind of, you know, just give it some. And, you know, if you're commuting, you're probably going to be in a 30. See, I just love to rip it right now. I'd love to. Must resist. Must not turn on this road at 130 miles an hour. And I guess that is the other problem then. So, yeah, the other problem is that it's an R6, and there's only one thing an R6 really loves to do, and that is to go fast. And every minute of every second of every minute of every hour of every day that you're on this thing, there's a little voice, and that little voice is telling you to do naughty things, and you just have to resist. That's the nature of owning. Now there are some occasions when the weather's fine, the road is clear, and there's nobody about, and you know, you can let her sing. But on the other hand, most of the time it's not like that, and you've got to just rein that in, suppress your inner hooligan, which is generally quite easy to do, but like, that's what, you know, that's what an R6 does, isn't it? It's like, but that's why we love them. That is why we love an R6. One of the reasons why we love an R6. And to be honest, when the traffic's like this and when there's leaves all over the road, it's not actually that hard to control. See, now we're doing about 30 and the engine temperature is fine, it's coming down, everything's under control. You can feel the heat leaving the bike. When it gets hot, when it gets up to like 100 or higher, you could feel the heat coming off the bike. You know, if you sat there at a red light, right, you can really feel that heat coming off the bike. And then it all just kind of blows away when you get over 30. Stop it, R6. Stop it. But as you can see, even though this is a race bike, going back to the whole comfort thing, you know, this is a little bumpy road, it's not really in great shape, it's not very smooth. This bike handles it perfectly. Now, my old R6 would have had a lot more trouble over little bumps like this. and you would have felt them a lot more. But the suspension in this one, despite the fact that the suspension's way harder than it was, way firmer than it was on the old bike, way stiffer. Now part of that might be the difference in condition and age of the two bikes, but you know, it is noticeably different and firmer and stiffer. But despite that, it handles all those little bumps way better. You know, I mean, you feel the bump when you go over it, but it doesn't feel unsettled or anything like that. Everything just feels grand. You just feel a little bump as you go over it, as you would expect. Yes, it's stiff, but again, it's not uncomfortable. It feels good. It feels good, you know, and there's no wallow, and there's no yeah, you know, it's just nice and firm, and you know, soaking up all those little bumps without any problems whatsoever. And then the faster that you go, the kind of better all of that works. Which again is not like a... Again, that's a problem, you know. That's part of the hooligan element. I would say what eggs you on partly is because it does. You know, all those things, it all just kind of comes together when you go a wee bit quicker, and it feels absolutely brilliant. One thing also is worth saying about the winter riding as well. I got a new visor for my helmet, and I figured I'd go for one of these fancy tinted ones. And you know, while I do like the way it's tinted, and you know, the helmet kind of suits it quite well, and it looks cool the way it's tinted over and you can't just see straight in, I mean, it is tinted. You know, it may not come as any surprise to you, but I guess I thought it was maybe like, you know, some sort of like two-way mirror type of effect. I kind of figured that like it'd be tinted, but like it wouldn't actually reduce the amount of light that comes through it that much. But it really does, you know. And you know, even on a nice sunny day, you know, I guess it's perfect for nice sunny days. But one of the effects of it is that anytime you look around, off into the distance, and it's a little bit misty or something like that, it looks grayer and darker. So you always think it's rain. If you're riding about, and like every direction that you look, you think you're going to get like, you get covered in rain, or you think it's going to rain over here, it's going to rain over there, and it looks like there's big grey clouds everywhere you look. But in reality, it's not like that at all. And as soon as you take your helmet or lift your visor, then you actually see it's actually quite a nice day. But because you've got a tint on it, it makes all the clouds and all the mist and everything look way grayer and darker than it actually is. You know, you're just in a perpetual state of mind that you think it's raining everywhere. So, and then the other thing about that as well is that, I mean, and again, this probably won't come as any surprise to you, but when it's dark, you can't flipping see. You can't, I mean, and when they say you can't see, I mean, you really can't see. I went over to Carnlough, it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago now, on like a week night during the week, and it was getting dark by the time I was coming home down past Larne, you know, and I figured as long as I could make it to Carrick, then it's all like kind of street lights from there in. But that wee bit getting from Carnlough to Larne along the coast where there's no street lights and all that, and I really was struggling to see. And then I was having to try and lift my visor and ride along with that, but then obviously you know, you've got air and you've got flies and all that kind of stuff going in your eyes, so you can't really do any more than about 30. But yeah, it was really bad, and you know, people have obviously said that to me before, and I have been kind of aware that it's a problem, but I never really appreciated how bad a problem it was.